So recently we saw some posts on Twitter or X talking about Mark Zuckerberg's yacht and the reasons for the yacht being registered in the Marshall Islands or flying a Marshall Islands flag. Now the title of this article read, "Exclusive Mark Zuckerberg's $300 million yacht docked in Fort Lauderdale, flying Marshall Islands flag in attempt to avoid paying US taxes." Now I'm not going to promote the account because it was quite a toxic account. I had to scroll through it for a few minutes and it made me want to delete my account and never again go back to Twitter. So I'm not going to put that on you. But the gist of the article is that, if you can call it an article, is that it was an attempt to avoid paying US taxes, suggesting that it would be just as easy to fly a US flag on the vessel. The thing is, it's very common for vessels to have flags of convenience, and it is related to tax in many ways, but there are very different reasons for not having a US flag on a vessel. US regulations about registering a yacht over a certain size makes it a very difficult affair and places many restrictions on how the yacht can be operated. The regulations in the US has traditionally meant that yachts over 300 gross tons were not eligible to fly a US flag. Zuckerberg's yacht is 5,000 gross tons in comparison. Now, until 2018, the US law defined a yacht as a vessel whose volume was a maximum of 300 gross tons. The law was written in 1920, but was never updated. US Coast Guard legislation failed to differentiate between a merchant vessel and commercial yachts, and therefore they were subject to US Coast Guard inspections as seagoing motor vessels. Now, the Coast Guard's inspection requirements were designed for cargo ships and other merchant vessels, and these standards of build required meant it was impossible for yachts to meet those requirements. Now, there were two notable exceptions to this: the owner of Motor Yacht Limitless and the owner of Motor Yacht Freedom, who were both able to get waivers. The owner of Limitless got one through the US Congress, and the owner of Motor Yacht Freedom got his by the US Coast Guard. Now, in 2018, a bipartisan bill was put forward that changed the laws of superyacht registration in the US for yachts larger than 300 gross tons. The bill was signed into law by then President Trump on the 13th of August 2018. Incidentally, Donald Trump was briefly a superyacht owner himself, actually buying a yacht from a Middle Eastern arms dealer, but that's for another story. The new law means that there are no longer any limits on length and gross tonnage. However, with the new law, there are still a number of caveats. The captain and crew would all have to be US citizens. You cannot charter a private yacht whilst flying the US flag, and it's only for private use. Now, chartering is a very popular thing with owners as a way to pay towards the running costs of a yacht. You know, they don't like spending their own money, so each charter for a yacht like Zuckerberg's can cost over $1 million per week. That's a lot of money even to a billionaire. The yachts can also not carry any cargo, which sounds, kind of obvious. Well, it's not a cargo ship, but, if he wants to take some stuff from his, Florida to his house in Hawaii, then he can't load it onto his own yacht and carry it there because it's illegal under these rules. And also, the owners of large yachts must disclose the identity of the yacht's beneficial owner to the Coast Guard, the US Coast Guard, which is probably not very popular with owners who want to keep that a secret. And there remain many more rules and regulations on registering your yacht in the US, including having to comply with the Merchant Marine Act, also known as the Jones Act, and even the Passenger Vessel Services Act can apply to yachts, which is a law dating back to 1886. So it's very complicated. I'm not going to go fully into it in this episode of Super Yacht News, but one of the reasons why the Jones Act can get very expensive for owners is this. The law allows US seamen to bring actions against ship owners based on claims of unseaworthiness or negligence, rights not afforded by common international maritime law. In fact, there is a case going to trial in the US in September by the crew, or by a number of crew of the super yacht Utopia 4. 7 of the crew whom were injured when the yacht crashed into a tanker in the Bahamas in 2021 are taking legal action against the owner of the yacht, Lauren Ridinger, as she or the company that owns it through her is allegedly refusing to pay wages for the crew hospital bills for those who were injured in the accident. And they're suing under the Jones Act. This is the preliminary statement from that lawsuit. It says this is an action for Jones Act negligence, unseaworthiness and unpaid maintenance and cure brought by the plaintiff, Motor Yacht Utopia 4. The plaintiff seeks a trial by jury to recover the amounts due for Jones Act negligence, unseaworthiness and maintenance and cure, consequential damages, attorney's fees and costs and punitive damages. Now, that lawsuit is brought by one person, but there are 7 people who all filed at the same time. And I believe, I haven't been able to confirm it yet, but I believe that court case in September will be all 7 of them at once. And we'll bring you more on that story in a future video. Thanks very much for watching this video. You've been watching a Super Yacht News clip. If you'd like to see the full unedited Super Yacht News video, you can click on the link over here. You can also find our channel links below here. And if you'd like to see more shorter videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to this channel.